Thank you, Talani, for joining me on the ADHD Girls YouTube channel, and where we talk about ADHD stories from women all around the world. So I just wondered if you can start with saying your name, what you do, and how old you were when you were diagnosed.
My name is Tshelane Reid. I am a corporate researcher. I work within the communications field. I'm also a producer. I produce a podcast called Update Podcast UK that's coming out in April, so this month. And I am a casting director for an independent production company called Barry Studios. So I'm 25 and I was diagnosed this year in January.
What led you to pursue an ADHD diagnosis? What triggered it? Did you have any struggles living with ADHD?
Yeah, totally. I feel like I've known something's different about me, has been different about me for my whole life. Like I've always felt like an outsider. I've always felt like I just couldn't. Like I saw other people doing things that I would need to work like 110% to match that and do. And I saw people do it so easily, and I was like, oh, it's like every like throughout my education, secondary school, university, like everything was just so difficult. And earlier this year, I was just like speaking to my friends. I was like, oh, like one of my friends has BPD, and I just thought to myself, okay, is it that? No, it's not that. So I just kept on searching for what it is. I've also been diagnosed with depression and anxiety, and I was just like, okay, that's not just the only thing that I feel like I have. And then I saw this. I came across this comic by a girl that had ADHD, and that was within an article that I read sometime last year. And I was like, oh my gosh, this feels like me. Like this is so like relatable. And I forgot the name of the comic. And the girl, I found her on Instagram, but yeah, I just reached out to her and I just thought, okay, like this sounds so much like me. What was the process? What is it like? What's it been like? And stuff like that. And I've not spoken to anybody else that has ADHD, so you're like the only person I know that has it, and I don't even know you. And then she was just like really, really helpful, really friendly. She said that she had, I was trying to ask her where the original comic where she posted it so I can repost it, and she said she'd gotten rid of it. But she just told me about her PERB diagnosis and how if I was wanted to get diagnosed, I should start writing a list of like my symptoms and start doing research because it took
Mhm.
her a good couple years. I think she said it took her like what 2 years, 1 or 2 years to build up the research to go to yeah a doctor and actually get diagnosed the first time. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, oh, is it going to take me that long? And by the time I spoke to her, she had been put on medication, or she was waiting for medication. And she said like it was 6 months between the time that she was diagnosed and the time that she had gotten her diagnosis, gotten her medication like sent out to her or got it organized for her. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to take so long. I just thought, oh, is there any point of me to do it? I think she had hers privately, and she basically no she didn't, she had it through NHS, and she just said the waiting list was long. So I think that put me off, like knowing that the waiting lists were going to be so long. And I just thought to myself, oh, okay, I'm going to start writing a list of my symptoms. But it got to a point where I saw quite a few other people online on Twitter, great people like Tanya Compass, like she's another influencer that I know that has ADHD, and she was like really transparent about her diagnosis, and a few others. I think there's a girl called Chantel or Shant. I forgot her, but yeah, there was a few other people on Twitter that were really talking about their story and how they got diagnosed. And through that, I saw somebody post a link to Psychiatry UK, and they basically said that they do it for free through the NHS. So you have to go to your GP and get referred to them. So I was like, as soon as I saw that, I put in my application. I think it took me 2 months between the time I put in my application and then the time I got diagnosed, which was yeah,
Mhm.
fairly quick to be honest.
Yeah.
Or I pushed, I pushed.
Yeah.
Like I don't think the first time um, I spoke about it to a healthcare provider in the NHS, they were just like they said that So I'm uh, based in Newham. So I was based in Newham, and they said that health, the no, sorry, ADHD assessment center was closed because of COVID, so they wasn't going to be able to diagnose me. So then I went to Psychiatry UK, and it was really, really fast. So if I had waited for the NHS, then I would be waiting for now to get it to get
Yeah.
diagnosed. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was my process.
Yeah, I went through the psychiatry UK route as well, but yeah, it took me a while to find it, and actually was trying to sort of do an experiment to see which one was faster, the NHS or psychiatry UK. So I
Yeah.
actually went both ways, and then in the end, I still haven't received anything from the NHS route yet, but I have got diagnosed from psychiatry UK. So it's a really good system, it's so
How
useful
did
for
you
people to know.
how did you find it? How did you find Psychiatry
Oh,
UK?
I also actually went through social media. I was in this Facebook group from this PR guru, and someone wrote about Psychiatry UK, but it was a man with ADHD. So at the time, I was thinking, would this work for? I know it sounds silly, but I was thinking, but I'm a woman, so would that work for
Yeah.
me? And
Same.
and yeah, I looked into it. Actually, it felt impossible at first, but then the more I looked into it,
Mm.
and then I joined the Facebook group for Right to Choose Psychiatry UK. And yeah, it's just very helpful environment, and people were just giving support on how to best approach it, and what your assessment is about. So that was
Yeah.
really, really
I think
helpful.
thank God for social media, because if
Yeah.
not, then I would still be here like wondering what it is that I'm like struggling with. So the fact
That's
that you've
right.
also found it through
Yeah.
social media as well, like that says a lot about, I guess, like what the healthcare system in the UK is not doing, and not like providing for the people in the UK,
Mm.
especially women as well. So yeah,
It's not
thank God for
obvious either with other, ADHD charities. I don't think they signpost Psychiatry UK in places like ADHD Wise, or, all these charities. They don't tell you, do they? So I would just say, like, social media awareness of ADHD, it's like 10 years beyond what the NHS or
exactly.
normal life, knows about it. So it's really amazing to have this tribe as well. So I'm really curious about life living with ADHD, in school or growing up with it. Has anything, sort of been a struggle to you because you had to deal with?
For sure. Like, when I was at school, I don't know, it's not like I wouldn't say like I hated school, but it was really, really difficult at times. Like, there were, I think some of the difficult bits were, I guess, like just education. I wasn't a bad student. That's the thing. Like, I know they say a lot of people with ADHD are like bad students. Like, I was a really good student. Like, I was quiet, and I think because of the inattentive side of my symptoms, I just, even if I didn't understand things, and even if things just went through my head, I just sat there and like was daydreaming or doodling or speaking to my friends and stuff like that. But I was quite quiet in school. But I think because that's one of the symptoms, like if somebody had noticed, um, I think school would have been a lot easier.
Mm.
I was. It's weird because in school, I wouldn't say I was the best at exams, and then at university, I was quite like my exams are all great. Um, but I remember having to really, really concentrate on revising in order to actually do well in my subjects. Like there was one subject, I think textiles. I literally went through everything like one by one that I needed to revise, and I highlighted everything, and that took a lot out of me. But I got a good result, and then that was for the mock. And then when the second time round doing the actual exam, I don't know, I guess like I just got like, not lazy, but I my attention wasn't on it. Like I just lost focus and lost motivation to that because of the ADHD. And then the second time around, it wasn't a bad grade, but it wasn't as good as the first time. But I noticed that the difference was I literally like had to force myself to concentrate and like sit down and do it in a way that I've never done it before. And I think it's the same applies to everything else, that like all my other exams and just like life in the workplace as well. Like I literally have to force myself to do it, and it can be painful. It can be really, really painful. um, I think another time where I really noticed it was when I was doing my dissertation at university. Like I said, like my exams were really great, but having to um, the difference between like school and university obviously is like you have less guidance. And doing my dissertation alone, like I had obviously like an advisor on it, but for the most part, like I had to schedule my own time, and I had to like put in the time for it, and I had to like do this long, like massive piece of work over months and months. And I really struggled. Like I felt like I had a breakdown at university. It's not even funny, I shouldn't even laugh. But yeah, I really struggled with my dissertation. And looking back on it, I just wish that I kind of wish I could do it again. But I'm learning from that. I'm learning from all the things that I didn't have when I was at school and at university. At the workplace, in the workplace, like I really push myself now because I know I need to
Yeah.
survive.
Yeah, well, I was really like I felt a sense of connection with you when I saw your profile because you have similar skills and interests to me. You know, we were both in communications, although in different industry. But I just thought, you know, maybe there is something in there, you know, in the field of communications and branding and marketing and writing, you know, that the ADHD mind really thrives in, you know, and it's also changeable and no one day is the same, although maybe 2 days or 3 days is the same, but it's not this long drawn out thing, you know, where you're writing a report or anything, right? You are actually doing something that are quite like a short burst of energy
Yeah.
towards like an article, and then the next day is another article, another area of interest.
Yeah, I think that's what definitely drew me to communications, is that like, especially working in an agency, like you get to do new things every single day. I have a new deadline and pretty much like new work every day, so that's really attracted me. But um it's give and take, because like some things, I if I'm not interested in a subject, because I work on so many different subjects like throughout the week and throughout the month, if I'm not interested in it, it just takes me so much longer to finish it. And yeah, I can really tell the difference between when I'm interested in a subject and when I'm not.
Yeah.
Because yeah, it just takes me
And
twice
do
as
you
long.
find that having this diagnosis has allowed you to understand more what you can do and what might you might find a bit difficult to do due to monotony or, you know, boredom? So could you navigate it better now in the world of work?
I feel like I'm definitely learning about my symptoms, knowing that I have it means that I look out for it a little bit more, obviously a lot more, and then I try and um, I try and put things in place so that it can help me throughout the day. I mean, I'm learning. I'm still learning. I'm still terrible at some things, and um, like organization, and like motivating myself to do things that I'm not really as interested in. But having that awareness, I know that it's gonna, like, in future, I'm building on it. It's gonna get better. I'm improving in those areas. So yeah, like I think that's the main reason why I wanted to get diagnosed, so that I can get support at work, but I also know, okay, this is what I'm dealing with, and I can actually look out for the symptoms and
Hmm.
understand myself better. I think that's the biggest thing. Like it's been up and down, like since I've gotten my diagnosis, but I feel like I'm starting to understand myself better and have more patience with myself as well. And I feel like the people around me, even though they like prior to having my diagnosis, they were really understanding. I think it's really helped them to check in on me and like have more patience with me as well, and take some note if I feel like I'm being overwhelmed at
Yeah.
work as well.
Yeah. Is it more of a relief that, you know, you have like an explanation for why, you know, certain things that you used to do in the past you don't have any explanation for and you feel a bit of guilt for, but now there is a name for it and other people can actually support you better with that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I feel like a lot of the symptoms that I have, like they've been put down to like really negative things in the past. Like, I'm really bad at time management, as you know,
Oh,
and
I'm bad.
so many other things. But I think it's definitely it helps me. It helps me also defend myself. I guess like I feel like I've had to defend myself, and like you said, I've had no reason But now I'm like, yes, this is the reason. Like, please just have more patience with me, and please like be a bit more understanding. And I call people out for being like ableist to me as well. Like, so I think that's one of the areas where I'm definitely getting more confidence in. And
Yeah.
I try not to use it as an excuse. Like in my head, it's not an excuse. It's please understand why, like where
Yeah.
I'm coming from and how my brain works, and it
Yeah.
doesn't work the same as yours, kind of thing. So, yeah.
What does ableism mean to you as someone living with an ADHD brain?
I think it definitely means like there's negative connotations with the symptoms that I have. Like a lot of the things in my life where I will beat myself up about and be really critical about is the things that are related, like my symptoms, and these are the things that people in my life have in the past have really like put me down on. So like friends, family. So I really do call people out on it now because it's like there's a reason behind it. So I
Yeah.
think that's definitely what, in my opinion, what it means. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, especially when you get older as well, you develop these systems that are supposed to make you function like a neurotypical. Because you are trying harder, other things are at stake, right? So
yeah,
it's
exactly.
nice now to have that excuse not to have to try that hard, you know.
Exactly. Yeah, that's so true. Like, I feel like because I didn't know before, and I wasn't looking after myself because of it, and I was masking so much. I was exhausted all the time, like every day. I'd have naps, like even like last year, and then working from home, like I'd have to take a nap like at 1, 2 o'clock because I was just so tired from like having to go through meetings and speak to lots of different people, and like just that masking thing. It just exhausted my body. But now, like now that I know, and now that I like put things in place to help myself be better and like help myself like um look after myself, basically, like I'm more active, I've got more energy. Like there are definitely days where I'm really really tired, but I push through. Whereas before, like I'd be like give up.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering if you have any other management strategies, to adopt to living with ADHD. Well, I know you're currently waiting for medication titration, but what are your systems, that has worked for you?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to actually getting medication. But I really like fitness. I realized while speaking to the psychiatrist that like fitness is like my clutch, and because I have like hyperactivity as well, it releases some of my energy. So before, when I did have like so much energy, like I let it pent up, and like obviously like it comes out in other ways, and it's really destructive to me. But every day, like I'll go out for a run. Like I try and schedule a run every single day since like January. I started like I challenged myself to like go for a run every day, or at least like most days of the week. So I do that every morning, and I try and work out as well. When beforehand, before like lockdown, COVID, this whole business, I would go to the gym quite a bit, and I didn't realize that was helping me, but that was one of like my safe places and one of the places where I love to go all the time. But yeah, now that I just go for runs and work out where I can. I also make sure that I eat throughout the day and drink, make sure like I'm nurturing myself, feeding myself, watering myself every day. I guess like I find a better balance with family and friends now. Um, I try and make time for myself, and in the way that if I'm exhausted to the point where I'm not able to speak to people, I'll let them know. If I'm mentally exhausted, yeah, I'll let them know. And if I'm very sensitive as well, so I think I have the sensitivity rejection
No,
um,
right.
symptom of it. So if I am feeling that way, I'll make sure that like I communicate a little bit better now. Like I definitely feel like I've been communicating better with my family and friends, but also like because I guess as my brain sometimes wants a distraction. So like if in the middle of the day I'm doing work and I feel like I need to speak to somebody, especially like because I've been at home by myself, like I live alone. I will make sure to call family and friends and just speak things out so that I'm not like just thinking about problems, my own issues, like by
Yeah.
myself, and it's not just going around in a circle in my head. Um, I try and take self-care days as well, where I just like focus on myself for that for the afternoon and have a glass of wine and put on some music and watch a movie. So yeah, I feel like I'm definitely looking after myself a little bit more now.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, well, it sounds really good actually, what you said. These are the exercise, the mindfulness, which is self-care, and then the connection that you mentioned, is so important when you're in that loop where you're thinking and thinking and thinking, but actually talking and connecting with someone else, can take you out of that loop.
yeah, exactly. I think
Right.
it's definitely like the communication thing because I used to like this is why I write. This is why I do love writing because I used to not be able to sleep because of like things I'm thinking about. So I used to like take out my phone, my notes, and just have to type things out. Whereas now, like I'll make time early in the day to speak to somebody about
Yeah.
things rather than let it like stay with me and
Yeah.
internalize things. I also meditate and do yoga as well. That really helps.
That's amazing. So yeah, the writing bit, I also do, and I did it more when I was younger. So it helps so much to put thoughts to paper, to
Exactly.
actually,
Like physically get it
kind of put
out.
in a mind map. What are you thinking about? And
Exactly. Yeah.
that's right. I just wondered now, do you have any advice for someone who, who think they might have ADHD but do not see the point in getting diagnosed? Because a lot of
I
people
feel
think,
like
they don't want
yeah.
medication. So
I think if you think you have it and you don't want to get diagnosed, I'd say firstly question why you don't want to get diagnosed. Is there some sort of internalized ableism that will put you off it? Because I know some people don't want to be diagnosed because it will because of the stigma of having a disability. So I feel like challenge that if it's because you don't think they can help. I've really heard that medication really helps, so that's why I'm really looking forward to it because I feel like I've heard that it's like putting on a pair of glasses for the first time, like you just see the world clearer. So, like who wouldn't want that? Wouldn't
yeah.
want to see the world clearer? And I think another thing I'd say is trust yourself. If you feel like you have something that's different about you, and you feel like you need help and support because of it, then don't don't like trust yourself, listen to yourself, and don't let anybody tell you that you're not, because you know yourself better than anybody else in this world. And even if it's not ADHD, it could be something else, so make sure that you keep searching for the answers for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, and also it's better to get formally diagnosed. So if it's something
Exactly.
else, then you would know for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, I wanted to end on a positive note. So I know that you're a very creative person. I've seen like the work that you do and this new venture with a podcast, which I'm really looking forward to support. What do you think ADHD has given you in terms of your skills and your positive uh, traits, which has helped you, to feel
Yeah.
fulfilled as a person?
Yeah, like you said, I feel like it's something made me more creative thinker because we think differently to a lot of the world. We think in a different way. So that's definitely something that I feel that's a benefit, a real massive benefit to me. Um, it's made me want to uh, be more ambitious with life, and like I normally have like 3 or 4 things like juggling in the works. Um, because like the dopamine kind of thing, like I seek out new ventures and new things to do, and that interests me because um I want to learn new skills and I want to better myself. So I definitely think that the ADHD has helped with that. It's given me the capability of actually doing multiple things and not getting tired of those things. I also I think it has helped me become a better writer because I have been just writing down my thoughts for a very long time. And I think now I have been diagnosed with it, it's helped me be more confident in myself and who I am, and I really know myself now, and it's led me to on this journey to discovering myself and being comfortable with myself and being comfortable in difference as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, some massive benefits of being diagnosed.
Yeah, it sounds all really positive, really, isn't it? I
Mm.
mean, there's definitely the post-diagnosis roller coaster that I found, like one day you're like, yeah, I'm really
Yeah,
good, I'm gonna tackle this. And then the next day it's like,
exactly.
oh,
But
But
also, I think it. Another thing is that I don't beat myself up as much. I have more compassion for myself.
that's
That's
right.
why.
Self
Yeah.
acceptance and self compassion, right? That is better than any medication you can take for
Certainly.
ADHD. So thank you so much, Delani, for joining us for this conversation. Really
Brilliant. Thanks for having me.
interesting hearing your story. And thanks as well for your advice, for people who are looking to pursue a diagnosis.